Thanks, Gina. A possible referendum question about Alberta separation was part of a special court hearing today. At the request of Alberta's chief electoral officer, a judge is now considering whether the question violates the Constitution. As Alicia Fielberg reports, experts say this is the latest obstacle in an uphill battle.
While some wonder whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada, the person in charge of Alberta elections wonders whether the wording of a proposed referendum question should even be allowed on a ballot. The province's chief electoral officer asked a judge to weigh in on whether or not it violates the Constitution.
This is nothing more or less than an attempt at delay, and from our perspective, it's an abusive process.
The question proposed by separatist group Alberta Prosperity Project: do you agree that the province of Alberta shall become a sovereign country and cease to be a province in Canada? The Premier and Justice Minister pushed back against the electoral officer, now saying Alberta's government believes that the proposal is not unconstitutional and therefore should be approved and permitted to proceed.
For a first time in the history of this province, and probably in Canada, Premier and the Minister of Justice, who's a lawyer himself, have decided to direct the Elections Commissioner on what he should and should not do.
Well, we don't think that the province is lining up on our side with this matter. They're simply saying that there's legislation in place that's clearly intended to have Albertans vote on issues of public importance.
And that's why Luke Hasek has his own petition underway to ask whether Alberta should remain in Canada rather than separate.
The vast majority of us want nothing to do with it. We want to focus on what's good for Canada, what's good for Alberta, and frankly, what's good for Canada internationally.
While in Calgary, Canada's Conservative leader suggested focusing on the energy sector instead.
And what they're saying is the era of pay up and shut up has got to come to an end. Alberta deserves a better deal within Canada. And one of the ways we make that happen, one of the ways we unite our country, is to produce our resources.
Experts say the battle over the possible referendum questions is just a sample of the long, expensive process separation would involve.
There are exit routes out of Canada, but they would be painful, protracted, and unbelievably costly to the people of Alberta in ways that this province has to have a serious conversation about.
Alicia joins us now. So, Alicia, what's next?
Well, Ian, the judge will be back next week on Thursday to determine whether or not this question violates the Constitution. Also, the people behind the two possible questions need to gather enough signatures on their petitions.